Whenever we read about any company, we hear about the funds that they have raised or the milestones that they have achieved. But nobody really talks about what happens behind the closed doors. The founder is constantly getting stressed because of work pressure. The founder is not able to sleep and they are crippling with burnout and severe anxiety. And in some cases, the founders don't even realize until it is too late. Scaling a startup is not just a business strategic decision, but it is also a psychological battle. And if you're not able to manage your mind in a healthy manner, the mind is going to break you when you need it the most. Let's take the example of Adam Newman. He is the founder of WeWork, and there was a point of time when his firm was getting funding from all sources. He had raised around $47 billion and his company was the talk of the town. Adam was living a life like a king. But behind closed doors, there was a lot of things that even Adam didn't even realize. What Adam started doing was he started to take certain irrational decisions. He purchased a jet for $60 million and he was investing into businesses that was not even relevant to WeWork. This made a lot of investors uncomfortable by his decision-making abilities. Eventually, the pressure caught on, the IPO was not successful, and WeWork lost a lot of money, forcing Adam to step down. Why did this happen? Scaling up a firm sometimes happens so quickly that the founder doesn't even realize that the firm has changed its dynamic completely. And when the founder is not able to understand this, that's when a huge pressure is put on the mental wellness of the founder. Let's break down what happens in the founder's mind when they are facing constant pressure and when the scaling up happens when they are not ready mentally. The first thing that founders experience is decision fatigue. On any average day, a founder takes around 100 to 200 decisions, and all of these decisions are of high stake. So when your brain is constantly loaded with so much of information, and each of this information is critical and requires a lot of cognitive thinking. So when this particular thing happens, there is a lot of pressure created in the minds of the founder. And what happens is that if the founder is not well rested and if they are not having a proper emotional regulations, the decision-making ability can constantly deteriorate, which can sometimes make them take impulsive decisions. The second thing that a founder experiences is cortisol overload. So when a founder is in constant stress, a hormone that is cortisol gets released. And when cortisol is released in a larger volumes, it kind of blocks the prefrontal cortex. So what does this prefrontal cortex do? It is the decision making or the logical aspect of our brain. So when it is blocked by this cortisol hormone, we are not able to take logical decisions. So what happens is that more bad calls and a constant feeling of overwhelm and anxiety gulps us. The third thing that the founder experiences is the dopamine trap. So startup world is crazy. There is so much that you learn, and as a founder myself, I constantly enjoy learning and upgrading my startup. But so every round of funding that you raise or every customer that goes happily by using your product or service or every milestone that you achieve, what happens is that dopamine, the chemical of pleasure, is released. And when all of these things start crashing down, the founder really crashes hard and the motivation level of the founder really drops. So imagine a founder is going on a roller coaster ride. At one point of time, there is a beautiful high, but the next moment there is a crash, and when this crash happens, you are completely unprepared and sometimes you cannot even anticipate why this crash happened. And when this crash happens, it hits you really, really hard. So this is what is the life of the founder, and especially for the founder who's scaling up at a very fast pace. So that's where I come in and my firm Happy Lab comes into play. We offer founder therapy session. So what happens in a founder therapy session? The founder comes in and discusses the diverse challenges that they are facing psychologically, emotionally, and sometimes even financial concerns which is bothering them, and they cannot speak about the same to anybody else because of the constant fear of judgment. They can speak about the same in a session. So now, how is this session helpful? A lot of you might think that talking about the problem alone, is it really going to help us to fix the problem? Well, talking alone is not going to fix, but definitely the way in which the questions is being asked or the different perspectives that the therapist shows you can have a huge impact in the way you think about the problem after you go back. Since I'm a founder myself, I have designed the sessions in a manner wherein all the resources and tools that we give the founder is going to help them to fix the problem, and at the same time you're not bargaining with the cost of your health. You're actually taking care of your health and at the same time working on your concerns in a much more healthier and in a better manner. So I'll give you a small context as to what exactly happens in these founder therapy sessions. For example, just a few days ago, I was talking to a founder who was talking about how the firm is running him and he is not running the firm. His day typically starts off with emails that he needs to answer and a lot of meetings with his team. So by the time all of these meetings ends, it is the lunchtime. And post lunch, he is held up with calls with his customers, with his vendors, and by the time the clock hits 6 p.m., he has not done anything other than attending meetings with his team and with his vendors. As a founder, he wants to grow his firm, talk to potential partners, talk to different marketing agencies and try out different trends that is going to place his product in a manner that a person can easily access. But since he's constantly held up with just meetings, he's not able to do the deep thinking that is going to help him to put his product in a place that is going to change the way in which the customer is going to view it. So what we did over here is we tried to understand his work schedule and how we can add in at least 2 hours of deep work in such a manner that all of his current work doesn't get disturbed, and at the same time he gets some time for himself wherein he's not talking to anybody. He's silently thinking for like at least an hour, and whatever he has thought, he's making a list of the next actionable course of action that he needs to take in. We did this for a period of 1 month, and after that the founder came to me and told that after a very long time, it seems like he's running the firm. The motivation that he had when he started the firm is slowly coming back. The zeal in which he was interacting with his customers also increased, because before he was always in a worry that he's not able to complete his task. He was running against time, because of which he was not talking well to his customers, and also in the meetings with his employees, he was constantly losing his cool. After giving himself that 1 hour time frame just to deep think about the work, deep think about the firm's future and what are the different small steps that he can take and his team can take, that 1 hour made a huge difference in the mood, in the stress level coming down. It also improved his sleep, and most importantly, he got back the motivation that he once had while he was building a firm. So this is a very small example that I gave you. But every founder has their own unique challenge, and that's where founder therapy comes into play. There are a few other tips that I want to give you if you are a founder and listening to this particular video. So the first thing that you can do for yourself is detaching your self-identity and worth of yourself from the business. Often, even I have done this particular error. Your business kind of becomes like your identity. You tend to think of the wins of your business as your personal wins and the losses of your business as your personal loss. But that's not the case. The first thing that we learn about any firm is the business is different from the owner. Definitely your motivation and your zeal is what is going to make the firm. But the more you identify yourself with the firm, the more it is going to cost you harm, because you're going to take every single thing very, very seriously. And when you start to take everything seriously, especially the criticism, you might lose the focus of building the firm. Set decision-making limits. Jeff Bezos only takes 3 important critical decisions in a day. If at all something else is there, you can always sleep over it and think about that decision the next day, because the more critical decisions you take in the day, the more pressure you're putting to your mind. Rewire the way in which you're thinking. So often we feel that the more we work, the more productive we are, but that's not the case. The more better sleep you have, 3 meals in a day with right timings, and therapy as a tool, not as a luxury, is definitely going to help the founder to make better decisions and to rewire the entire stress cycle or the anxiety cycle that they experience. Schedule a time for yourself every day, if not every day, at least once in a week. If you're able to schedule meetings with your clients, with your investors, you can schedule a meeting with yourself for just 1 hour, wherein you're not distracted by emails, phone calls, or by other people. You're just giving this time for yourself to think about the future of your business. In a recent video of Sarah Bakery, she tells that often, whenever she wants to think, she takes her car, goes on a drive for at least an hour because that is when thoughts flow in. And when thoughts flow in when you're alone, you get one of the most brilliant and creative ideas that can actually help you to build your firm in a better manner. And the last thing is invest in yourself. So, like how you take care of your business by ensuring that everything that you do is the best. Similarly, invest in yourself. You can upgrade by reading more, meet people who actually energizes you, do activities that makes you feel a little bit better, because often we are only thinking about work. So you need a time to be with yourself and you're not thinking about the work, because that is when your creative juices flows in. And invest in therapy or coaching, whatever you feel is going to help you, because all of these investments are definitely going to help you in a longer run. In a short run, maybe when your business is doing well, everything is fine. But in a long run, your business is definitely going to go through the cyclical phases. So it is important that you invest in yourself so that when the cyclical phases comes by, you are ready. Happy Lab is a counseling center that is there for the founders, and we have tailored sessions just to take care of your mental wellness. So if you found this video to be helpful, don't forget to share it with your founder friends. Hit the subscribe button and the like button, and I will see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching.